KBOI News Time, 8:20 time for the KBOI Medical Moment, which is every Tuesday, that is, brought to you by Regence Blue Shield of Idaho, featuring Dr. Kenny Bramwell, the Executive Medical Director for Regence. Dr. Bramwell, good morning.
Morning, Chris. Paul J., hello.
Morning, Dr. Bramwell. There are those of us who wouldn't dream of starting our days without downing our favorite vitamin or minerals, yet there's no reason to question the health benefits of doing that.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's a new study by researchers north of the border, and they call into question the value of these supplements for those of us concerned about our cardiovascular health. Their extensive reviews of these trials published over the 5-year period found that these multivitamins, vitamin D, calcium, and vitamin C, which are the most common supplements, showed no advantage nor any added risk in the prevention of cardiovascular disease, heart attack, stroke, or premature death.
Did the researchers have anything good to say about any supplements?
Well, they did find that folic acid alone and B vitamins with folic acid could reduce or may reduce cardiovascular disease and stroke, but that was about the only finding on the positive side.
Any concluding thoughts or advice for those of us who, a lot of people spend a lot of money on these things?
Yeah, many of us do. The lead author of this study does a nice job summing up his findings. Basically, he said, in the absence of significant positive data, apart from the folic acid thing that I mentioned, it's most beneficial to rely on a healthy diet to get your vitamins and minerals.
Now, speaking of things that we put in our bodies without giving it much thought, there is some news, I guess, about artificial sweeteners. Now, do I need to think twice about what I put into my next cup of coffee?
Well, it's probably good to always think about what we're eating and drinking, but there's a new study from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign that offers some interesting food for thought on the topic of artificial sweeteners, which are really popular. Data suggests that about 1 in 4 American children and about 2 in 5 American adults use these artificial sweeteners regularly. The new study, published in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition, found that for those who need or who simply choose to watch their blood glucose levels, consumption of artificial sweeteners alone won't cause a spike in blood sugar.
Well, that's encouraging, but there's got to be some bitter to go along with the sweet, right?
Yeah, that's true. I don't know that this next idea qualifies as a bitter pill, but these researchers point out that this doesn't mean people can consume as much food and drinks with these sweeteners as they'd want. Moderation and balance should inform our food and drink choices.
Doctor, finally, I hear that there is yet another area where we need to consider how much we consume.
Yeah, this one's a little tricky. So much of our time, and so many of us are dialed into social media feeds and computer screens and other news sources that it's actually stressing us out. Too much reading or hearing about disasters or other bad news, for many of us, triggers a fight, flight, or freeze mode in us. So psychotherapists warn us that constant exposure to these traumatic events and dramatic events can derail our ability to cope healthily and hinder our ability to return to a relaxed state.
So, when in doubt, tune it out?
Well, I don't know that we can really do complete avoidance, but as far as maybe sleep hygiene and some other things, we want to consider putting a limit on how much we look at the news or how late we look at the news. Certainly we can try and create space and time needed to soothe ourselves before it's time for bed and helping us to return to normal. It's helpful to set up a personal regimen that includes proven stress busters. We've talked about this before: exercise, spending time with friends and family, relaxation techniques, meditation, deep breathing, and yoga.
Dr. Bramwell, we thank you for your time this morning on KBOI.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Doc.